welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a review on the Urban Decay All-Nighter Foundation. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So if we rewind a little bit to last week's video, I did a $300 Sephora haul, which I will link down below as well if you want to check that out if you didn't see it. And I mentioned that I got the Urban Decay All-Nighter Foundation. And I don't think I took it out the box, so I'm going to give you guys a close-up of what it looks like. So it literally just kind of looks like this. And the more that you use, it shows you how much you have left, which I do like, because a lot of foundations, like before I was using the, for example, before I was using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, and you literally can't see when you're running out until you're pouring and pouring and pouring and there ain't nothing coming out. So I like how in this foundation you can see in the bottom how much I've been using, and I've been using a chunk of this. And this foundation is supposed to be, it claims to be a waterproof long wear liquid foundation that has full coverage. Now I wanted to wear this foundation for a while before I did a review on it. I didn't want to do just a first impression. I wanted to do a couple of days impression. So this video is really mostly going to be my whole review summed up for this foundation. So let's talk about the application of this to begin with. The application, it's obviously liquid foundation, like I said. It comes out with a little push tube, push little squeezer like that. Going back to the application, because I'm rambling, is that I use the Pro Full Coverage Airbrush Sephora foundation brush, and it is the 53 brush. And I showed you guys this brush in my Sephora haul last week, and I told you guys I would get into more detail about the brush and the foundation this week. So the application, this is what I use to put it on. Squeeze the foundation onto a candle topper. Upon myself. So what I started to do is, instead of throwing my candles away, and I get the candles from Bath & Body Works, the 3-wick big candles, and instead of throwing them away, I started to recycle them. The container that the candle sits in, I would put that in hot boiling water to get all the wax out, and now that's where I put my brushes, beauty blender, all my skincare stuff, just mainly to keep it all in a bulk together, but have a simple holder. And with the tops, I was throwing them away. I didn't feel like I had any use for them. And one day, I just started squeezing my foundation on there, especially when I was using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. I would just start squeezing it on there, and I would just start dabbing with my brush or whatever I'm going to use to apply my foundation. So when you don't have a squeeze top foundation, that's a hack, and it's really, really good to use. Or you can use the back of a disc. So what I do is now I recycle those and I keep the tops, and when they get super dirty, since I don't clean them off and it's just covered in a whole bunch of makeup, I finally just toss it and I go on to the next candle and I use it. So that's pretty much what I do, is I squeeze this foundation into the top of a candle holder, and I kind of just dab with this and just dab into the skin. I do maybe 4 dabs, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I just start working it into my skin. So I was forewarned before I bought the foundation that it dries very quickly. So what you don't want to do is start working it in, is start dabbing little dots on this side, here, 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 and then start going back to the first dot. What you want to do is just work and take your time with the foundation, is what I found out when using the foundation. So I will do this side of my face, rub it in, get it all clear and meshed in with my skin, and then I go on to this side and do the same thing, and it's just repetitive with your whole face. It does dry really quickly, so if you don't move fast with the foundation, it's gonna almost get stuck, and you're gonna see the little blotches that you did of the little dots under your foundation, and that's not what you want to do. So for application, I would probably say you want to move super quickly with the foundation. I don't mean like running, going crazy, but literally within 2 minutes, you should be dabbing what you put on. You should be rubbing in what you put on your face. So that's for application. I like this brush. It's super firm, so it's not like how your normal fan brush is for highlighting. This is super firm and it's just super small, right to the point. Let's move on to the wear of this foundation. I have this foundation on now, and what I've noticed is with the wear, you don't need to set this with any type of powder foundation. And that's what I was doing. The first 2 days that I got the foundation and I was wearing it, I was setting it with a powder. Now, I was already foretold before I bought the foundation to not set it with a powder, and that it acts alone, and because it's full coverage, you don't need to set it. But some people still, personal preferences, they want to set it themselves with a powder. I was doing that because that's what I've always done with my foundations, is set them with a powder. And some foundations, you lose the consistency and you lose the purpose of the foundation and the formula when you set it with a powder, especially if the powder and the foundation aren't working well together, which is what was happening in my case. The first 2 days I wore it, I was wearing it with a powder foundation, setting it with a powder foundation, and I was super oily. And I remember when I bought the foundation, the woman told me, you know, you don't need to set it with a powder. It's perfectly fine. It's good with oil control, which I am a very oily person, super oily, especially in my T-zone. I'm very oily. So stupidly, I still said it because I was in my ways, and what I normally do is set my powders. And what I normally do is always set my foundation with a powder. So I was hard-headed and I did that. I tried it again, maybe the third day, without setting it with a powder, and it changed it completely. When I had it with a powder, I was oily, I looked disgusting, and I was sitting inside all day and I literally looked super oily and wet and just sweaty in my face, and it wasn't cute. So once on the third day, I tried it without setting the foundation with a powder, and it changed everything. So at that point, I was completely in love with the foundation and I was sold. But I didn't want to trick myself, so what I did was wear it for a fourth day, but it would be day number 2 for wearing it without a powder foundation to set it. So I tried it again, same thing, my face stayed matte. I had small little oily spots, not to where I looked like I just could go like this and just wipe off sweat off my face, which is what happened the first 2 days with setting it with a powder. And so it was just your natural oils, your natural bits of oil that come through. And right now I have it on and I feel like it looks really good. So one thing I would recommend when using this is try to wear it with a powder, setting it, and see how that works for you. Everybody's skin is different. It could work for you, it didn't work for me. And also try wearing it without setting it with a powder and see how it works. Now let's get into coverage. Coverage for this foundation, it is set out to say that it is going to be a full coverage foundation. It's a full coverage foundation, literally. They kept true to their word and it is a full coverage. It literally covers everything and it feels really good on the skin. It doesn't feel super cakey. It doesn't feel heavy and just like liquid, which is why I usually stick to powder foundation. It holds true to its word and it's full coverage. I don't know what more to say about it. It's completely full coverage. Say that this focuses on people with oily skin. It doesn't claim to have a matte finish, but it does help with oil control, as is what I found out. And by the time I get to work in the morning, and by the time I come home at nighttime, it's usually still a-okay, still intact, still looks really, really good. So like I said, I would probably give this a 9 out of 10 for this foundation, and I would recommend it to oily skin. With that being said, I can't wait to see you guys in my next video, and I want to thank you as usual for watching, and do not forget to subscribe and like the video so that all your friends can see this review, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video.